In the summer of 2025, the Federal Bureau of Investigation launched one of the most ambitious nationwide initiatives in recent memory, targeting violent crime on a scale rarely seen before. Over the course of just a few months, more than 8,600 individuals were arrested across the United States, ranging from gang leaders and fugitives to those accused of violent crimes against the most vulnerable. The operation, publicly known as Summer Heat, stretched across dozens of cities, from bustling metropolitan centers to rural counties, and involved an unprecedented level of coordination between federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. Behind the numbers, however, lie stories of human suffering, danger, and the complex consequences of a nation grappling with escalating violence. In recent years, violent crime had surged in many U.S. cities. Shootings, gang activity, and drug-related offenses left neighborhoods tense and communities fearful. Families worried about leaving their homes. Parents monitored their children with heightened anxiety, and law enforcement faced mounting pressure to act decisively. The FBI, responding to these trends, designed Summer Heat to address both immediate threats and long-term patterns, bringing together intelligence, manpower, and resources to neutralize violent networks and protect victims, especially children exposed to exploitation and abuse. The operation was not uniform. Each field office tailored its approach to local realities. In Phoenix, for instance, 411 arrests were made, including 103 children who were located and identified as victims, and 15 individuals charged with violent offenses against minors. Agents seized firearms, conducted extensive drug confiscations, and dismantled segments of organized gang networks. In Little Rock, Arkansas, 90 arrests and 24 indictments focused on gang operations, resulting in 32 firearms recovered and significant narcotic seizures. Boston, Massachusetts, reported over 400 arrests, with a concentrated effort on disrupting gang activity and drug-related violence. Across all jurisdictions, the scope was staggering, highlighting both the FBI's capacity and persistent nature of violent crime in America. The strategic framework of Summer Heat relied heavily on intelligence gathering, meticulous planning, and coordinated execution. Agents analyzed crime patterns, mapped gang hierarchies, and targeted known fugitives, violent offenders, and individuals involved in child exploitation. Federal warrants were executed systematically, with teams entering buildings, surveilling suspected locations, and ensuring that operations minimize risk to officers and civilians. By integrating local, state, and tribal law enforcement, the initiative was able to leverage regional knowledge while maintaining a national operational perspective, ensuring that arrests were not only numerous but also meaningful in disrupting criminal networks. Yet behind each arrest lies a human story. Every gang leader removed from the streets, every fugitive apprehended, and every child rescued represents lives changed, sometimes forever. Neighborhoods that had once lived in fear began to breathe easier. Families found relief in knowing that dangerous individuals were no longer free, and victims could begin to recover from trauma. Despite these victories, questions remain. Will these arrests translate into lasting convictions? Will the cycle of violence reemerge once federal focus shifts elsewhere? The answers are uncertain, and the stakes are deeply human, reflecting the complex interplay between justice, deterrence, and societal healing. Challenges were inevitable. Coordinating operations across dozens of jurisdictions required careful allocation of resources and a continuous exchange of intelligence. Inaccurate or outdated data sometimes delayed arrests, and in some communities, federal presence sparked concern over civil liberties and the potential for overreach. Arrests alone do not guarantee long-term reductions in crime, and critics caution that unless enforcement is paired with preventive strategies, such as education, social services, and economic opportunity, the impact may be short-lived. Summer Heat was a monumental show of force, but it was not a complete solution. The operation also underscores a delicate balance between federal intervention and community trust. While many praise the initiative for removing dangerous individuals and sending a clear message that violent crime would not be tolerated, others question whether the approach might alienate communities already wary of law enforcement. True progress, experts argue, requires more than just arrests. It demands attention to root causes like poverty, systemic inequities, and lack of access to education and mental health resources. Summer Heat demonstrated what decisive federal action can achieve, but it also highlighted the limits of enforcement without complementary social investment. Nationally, the significance of summer heat cannot be overstated. It represents a bold statement by the federal government, signaling both capacity and resolve. The high-profile arrests, seizures of weapons and narcotics, and rescue of children drew public attention and reinforced the FBI's role not only as an investigative agency, but also as a proactive enforcer against violent crime. The operation invited scrutiny and debate, offering a window into how law enforcement balances tactical efficiency with ethical responsibility and community relations. Political narratives, media coverage, and public perception all converge to amplify the operation's visibility, while also raising questions about sustainability and long-term efficacy. As the dust settles, the legacy of summer heat is still unfolding. The thousands arrested, the children rescued, and the networks disrupted form a record of decisive action. Yet, whether neighborhoods remain safer, whether the justice system effectively processes these cases, and whether communities experience enduring change remains to be seen. Summer heat illustrates both the promise and the complexity of large-scale federal crime operations. It shows what is possible when resources, intelligence, and determination converge, while also reminding us that violent crime is deeply rooted, multifaceted, and ultimately a societal challenge that extends beyond arrests alone. The story of summer heat is not simply one of numbers. It is a story of human vulnerability, systemic response, and the intersection of law, justice, and social dynamics. Every arrest represents a disruption of harm. Every seizure a weapon of potential tragedy averted, and every rescued child a future reclaimed. It is a narrative that highlights both the power and the limits of federal enforcement, and it challenges viewers to consider the broader question. Can violent crime be truly controlled through enforcement alone, or must society pair action with prevention to achieve lasting safety? In reflecting on summer heat, we are reminded of the ongoing tension between immediate action and sustainable change. The operation achieved remarkable results, but its ultimate success will be measured not just in arrests or seizures, but in enduring safety and stability of the communities it touched. It is a story of ambition, courage, and complexity, a window into the challenges of combating violence in a nation as vast, diverse, and intricate as the United States.